As I've mentioned in previous videos, Battlestar Galactica was a toy line that almost hit, but because of the television show being canceled prematurely and Mattel's weird decisions with the toy line itself, putting the action figures out of scale with the vehicles, Battlestar Galactica as a merchandising event pretty much fizzled. And because of that, there were a number of items that never got produced, including the Battlestar Galactica itself. Now, fans over the years have had to take up the mantle for Battlestar Galactica products in the action figure and toy area. And that includes, as we've seen in previous videos, the upscaled Colonial Viper and Cylon Raider and Land Ram from Robert Bergeron. But another company called Cardboard Agitprop, run by a guy named John, has taken it upon himself to do conceptualized cardstock playsets for some of the key locations in classic late 70s sci-fi. And so Cardboard Agitprop has done bridge playsets for various scales of Star Trek figures, both Mego and Playmates. They've even done a Clash of the Titans environment in a kind of Palitoy Death Star-inspired configuration. And now they've done the bridge of the Galactica from Battlestar Galactica in glossy cardstock, which is akin to many playsets of the late 70s. And this is only fitting given that, like Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica was a toy line that was saddled with a very large central ship. For Star Trek, it was the Enterprise. For Battlestar Galactica, it's the Galactica, that could not be properly scaled to fit action figures. And so much in the tradition of various Star Trek lines that have utilized bridge playsets that were dissociated from out-of-scale miniature vehicles for the Enterprise and the Klingon battle cruisers and things like that, Agitprop has decided they are going to do their Galactica bridge separate for the action figures because there's no feasible way to make a figure-scale Galactica ship itself. And in some ways, this is a descendant of the vacuform plastic playsets from Mego for Buck Rogers and Star Trek, except now in a more fan-friendly cardstock. The construction of the playset is very straightforward. It's like doing paper dolls. You want an X-Acto knife, you want a ruler, you need a pair of scissors, some Scotch tape, and a lot of patience because you're going to be cutting these things out of templates and then putting slot A into tab B. It's more about time than it is about complexity. Once you get the piece together, you can see that it has all the proper colors from the set of the television show, and it is a very nice place to display your Mattel Battlestar Galactica action figures. It even comes with a beautiful Mattel-inspired themed box to go right alongside any of your vintage toys. And if I had to identify any drawbacks to this playset, of course durability being one, you don't want to sit or step on it. The other one would be Mattel's fault for not making enough of the hero action figures from the show itself. This action figure line actually had more villains than heroes, and they never really got past Adama, Starbuck, and the Daggett, which is not exactly an active hero in the show. And that's what makes this playset a rarity to be chosen by a fan maker to do, and also puts it at a disadvantage in the toy collecting space, because Battlestar Galactica collectors are completely dependent on their own sweat equity to make custom figures of the missing crew members. They do it all the time in Facebook groups and they show off their work. But if you want the entire crew of the Galactica to go in this playset, if you want Apollo and Athena and all those other characters, Sheba, you're going to have to make them yourself. And you're going to have to make them off of existing 3 3/4 inch vintage figures and get them to look akin to the Mattel designs, which a lot of people have done, but they've all had to do it themselves. There's no maker out there like a Stan Solo or a Smith Lord Creations or a Pro Customs making these available to people who don't have those tools, those skills, that level of experience. And that is a letdown, but that's not the playset's fault. It's Battlestar Galactica's Mattel line being so slipshod. But for the people who love Battlestar Galactica and really want a nice display for their vintage figures, both original and custom, and maybe don't have the skills to 3D print their own fully plastic, detailed Battlestar Galactica bridge, the Cardboard Agitprop is the perfect economic solution for a Battlestar Galactica figure display. And much like the Star Trek line, I can see it working with the other vehicles that were made by Robert Bergeron, similar to how we would have used the shuttlecraft with the Enterprise bridge playset. Figures can hop in the vehicles and fly away from the central bridge, and then fly back after the adventure is over. So if you are a Battlestar Galactica fan, or a Star Trek fan, or a Clash of the Titans fan, or a Star Wars fan, and you want to see what cardboard Agitprop has up its sleeves, the link to their Facebook page is in the description below. Thanks for watching this, everybody. If you want to see more Battlestar Galactica content, you can watch our Battlestar Galactica playlist here. And if you just want to see more videos about late 1970s sci-fi, you can watch our Buck Rogers feature here. And now I'm going to get this frackin' bridge off of my table and back into the display room.